give room to the cultural expressions that we see, especially when it comes to matters of ethnicity and understanding of interaction with the political sphere?
Yeah, I think this is a part of a bigger problem, and that's the conflation of um, particular political principles or particular political practices or prudence in the public realm
How many
with,
P's can you do right there?
well, I guess you're right.
I was like,
Let me
that's a
think.
preacher. He did all P's.
Proclamation, the propagation of the gospel. I mean, they're all coming to me now. So, no, but I think it's been, especially because we live in a more polarized area. We live in a more polarized era. No, this is one of the challenges we face right now, I think, in our society, and this is one of the things I mentioned in the book. I think is that whenever we don't have in mind the sort of the epic stakes of what our choices are and how they matter for eternity, when it comes to salvation and damnation, and what it means for us to be, saved, and why we have an evangelistic task before us. Whenever you lower the earthly stakes or the heavenly stakes, and you're no longer thinking really about people as saved and lost and wanting to reach people and whatnot, and that's evangelism takes a back seat. What happens is generally not that everyone is more tolerant and more inclusive and wonderful toward each other. What happens is that the earthly battles that are happening in Washington, D.C., or in Hollywood, or in business, or wherever you are, those wind up taking on the sort of epic eternal stakes. They wind up being raised in significance. So when you lower the eternal significance of our choices, you raise the earthly significance of our choices, to where some of, and I mean, people have been writing about this, even non-Christians are writing about this, that for some, politics has become something of a pseudo-religion. Like, it matters. But I mean, this is one of the shocking things I think to see more recently, is that for a majority, I can't remember the exact numbers, I've written about it somewhere, but there are more people in the United States today who would be upset if their son or daughter were to marry someone from the opposing political party than to marry someone from a different religion. It's just a shocking stat, because basically, I mean, like, I'd be better off if my daughter married a Hindu than a Republican, or a Democrat, no matter what you're. So this is one of those areas where you recognize, you can say, that means religion doesn't count for as much anymore. That's one takeaway from that. The other thing to take away from that is that, no, politics has become the religion for people, so that you don't marry a heretic from the other party. And so I think because of that, it makes a lot of the conversations that we have much more heated than they need to be, particularly within the church. And I think there are lots of churches that get compromised very easily from an over-politicization. And I think this happens actually on the left and the right. In fact, you're much more likely to hear politics in a church that leans left politically than you are in a church that leans right politically, even though that's not what you would hear from the media. If you actually look at the stats and the surveys, it's mainline denominations, for example, are way more likely to talk politics from the pulpit from a left-centered point than people on the right. But it happens in both ways. And I'm not saying that it's always wrong, because I think there's a place for Christians need to be vocal and need to speak out on all kinds of issues. I think what makes it challenging is when we take what we consider to be prudence or wisdom in matters of politics, and our posture in politics, or how we engage, or how we seek to go about implementing what we see as a Christian influence perspective in society at some level, wanting to bring our values to bear on the political process, as we should. I think when we take some of those questions of the how to and the what and exactly, and we raise those to level of orthodoxy, I think that's when we're in trouble, and we've got to be careful. I think that's when we're not taking seriously. And I see this happen. I see this happen constantly on both sides of the political aisle. The very people who, vote one way, their Christianity is called into question, same as people that vote another way, when there's all different things that people mean by a vote, and all different reasons why people vote a certain way they do. They don't all vote for the same reason or to support the same thing. So I just think we've got to take that down a notch or two, and let's say, let's focus on those areas of essential orthodoxy, no matter our ethnicity, that being first and foremost. And then we can have lots of conversations, even heated debate, over the best way forward when it comes to what does this look like in practice.